Like I would drink bangs like they were like apple juice or something. Hey everyone, welcome back to Modern Mindset. This is the week where I get to share my first 30-day challenge video. These videos will challenge me to get out of my comfort zone and also challenge my mind and body to complete some type of goal within 30 days. For my first challenge, I decided to tackle the infamous keto diet. I did do a decent amount of research into keto before deciding to do this challenge, but I'm no expert by any means, so I ended up structuring my diet around a video made by Delauer, and I'll link that video in the description down below if you want to take a look at that. If you're thinking about trying keto, he's a good resource to try to use. He makes a lot of informative content around it, and it's a good resource to at least get you started. The particular video I used was more like a challenge in itself. It was more to try to do a deep cut, and it was super clean. It's not like a dirty keto style eating habits. So I tried to use that as my starting point and then kind of built off of that to cater to something that I could actually sustain over 30 days. As to avoid forcing you to go and watch that entire video, I'll give you at least a brief summary of what that diet consists of and what keto is, just in base layman's terms. So the keto diet, it basically revolves around having high protein, high fat meals with little to no carbs at all. I personally limited my carbs to 25 grams per day at max. I never went over that, and that was kind of where I made my breaking point. No matter what, I would not go above 25. The diet outlined in the reference video really centers around three types of days. You have your standard keto day, your high protein day, and then a fasting day. And I formatted my eating schedule similar to the way he did it, where you have a keto day first, then a high protein day, and then a fasting day, and then you repeat that cycle. And basically did that for 30 days. I already practiced intermediate fasting doing the 8:16 ratio, and to make that difference in the new fasting day for my diet during this challenge, I basically did like a 24-hour fast where I would eat lunch and then I wouldn't eat anything until the next day's lunch. For the actual contents of all the meals during those days, I really did follow what he outlined in his video. I did add a few things and added some creative freedom in order to get my calories to around 2,000 to 2,500 per day based off of my activity level. Before I get to my results in the keto diet, I did want to shout out the comment of the week from last week's video. The comment was made by a username Awesomely Original, and I think he brought up a lot of good points. There are definitely employers out there that'll hold a degree over a more deserving person over their work ethic and their merit, but I would argue that if people are doing that already as an employer, they're most likely also going to be the same type of people who are going to do other things that are kind of scandalous, such as like promoting friends over people who deserve it and stuff like that. So you probably don't want to be working for them long term anyway. On to this week's question of the week. What does your diet consist of? Do you have a particular diet you want me to try out and review? Or do you have a particular dish that you want me to try and review? I tried out stuffed mushrooms for the first time this week, and I actually liked them. I never thought I would. I've been completely avoiding mushrooms for my entire life up until this week. But with my diet outlined, here are my results on 30 days of keto. So as you can see, the diet was actually pretty effective when it came to losing weight. I managed to go from 208.8 to 192.8 in approximately 30 days, but those numbers can be a little deceptive. A better representation of my weight loss would probably be my median weight change. My median weight went from about 205 to about 195. So effectively about a 10-pound loss in 30 days. This is also not truly representative of the amount of weight I lost, because when you cut carbs out of your diet, you're also going to lose a decent amount of water weight. 1 gram of carbs typically correlates to 3 grams of water. So when you cut all those carbs out for keto, you're going to lose a lot of weight very quickly because of the amount of water weight you're going to lose. So effectively, I would guess I lost probably more like 3 to 5 pounds over 30 days, which is still pretty good. It's still about 1 pound per week. So it still works pretty well when it comes to losing weight. If you look at the two photos, you can see that I lost a lot of the weight around my stomach area actually. You really can see that the sides of my stomach really came in a bit more, but I'm still quite a few pounds away from getting abs. If I ever did try to set out to get abs, it'd probably be pretty rough. I'd probably have to lose quite a bit of weight and it would still probably not be that effective because I do have a lot of extra skin around my stomach. Whenever I went to 285, I basically gained 20 pounds over the summer for football. It basically went straight to my stomach. So all my excess skin is pretty much centered around that area. So I'd have to get down to a pretty low body fat percentage, which I'm currently sitting around 15. I'd probably have to get in the single digits before I'd ever see any kind of true definition around that area. Even though I was able to reach new PRs in my weight loss journey, not everything went great with keto. I actually shot some progress videos throughout the month really talking about how I was feeling and how everything was going. But after thinking about it more, I don't really think it's gonna work very well to just interject those within this video. In the future, if I'm doing something like that again, I think I'll actually just go live on YouTube and just kind of have an interaction with you guys and answer your questions there. But at this point, I'm just gonna scrap those videos and I'm just gonna kind of summarize my experience just in this video instead. This was truly an interesting experience going through keto, and it really hit me in ways I didn't expect. The first week I actually felt great, which was surprising because I thought I was going to go through the keto flu the first week, so I went into it thinking it was gonna be awful, but I actually had great energy levels the entire time. I didn't ever feel tired. I was able to push myself on the mat and also in the gym, but I was a little premature and it hit me hard the next week. It was like clockwork. The second week came around and I felt like I got hit by a freaking major sickness where I'd just be bedridden. I felt like I actually got the flu, which I guess that kind of makes sense with the name of it, but it was really just, I had an energy, but my joints hurt everywhere. I didn't feel like doing anything. I couldn't train really, and it was just awful. And it kind of lasted for quite a bit of time, and it pretty much lasted through almost the whole 30 days. After the second week, I still did notice that I still wasn't feeling hunger. I actually felt like I was able to eat more food on keto than anything, which kind of makes sense because protein and fats and stuff like that, they do make you feel really satiated, and they also are not as calorie dense, not fat so much, but the amount of protein you're able to eat is actually quite a bit before you hit those calorie limits that you would hit with, say, like a carb or something like that. But during that second week, I also started having issues where it really started hurting me and really made me not want to do keto anymore. Because I basically had to cut my training schedule to about 50% because of how bad the joint pain was. I really wasn't able to do nearly as much as I was used to. I basically cut leg days out completely. I didn't do any cardio. It was more, I was stretching so much more every day just to try to relieve the pain, and it was just absolutely brutal on me. One thing I also noticed was that my recovery time was absolutely destroyed. I would go from being able to do 2 lifts in a day consistently, multiple days in a row, where I'd do 3 of those and then I'd have a day off and then 3 more. And I would feel great. I never really had energy issues. I never felt super sore or anything like that. But on keto, I would feel exhausted at the end of the day if I would try to go and do like a lift. So it's not like energy exhausted, but like my muscles didn't get enough time to recover, which you could argue that's because I don't have carbs and stuff like that. These side effects did start to lessen as 30 days kept going, but they never really fully went away. Towards the end of the last week, I was able to start doing a little bit more lifting. I was able to go back into doing more legs, but the recovery time was still an issue. One weird side effect I did want to note was that caffeine like no longer had an effect on me. Like I would drink bangs like they were like apple juice or something. Like I felt nothing from them. Like one day I had like 900 milligrams of caffeine and I felt nothing. My heart rate, I wear an Apple Watch, which I track my heart throughout the day, and my heart rate didn't change at all, even though I had 900 milligrams of caffeine, which makes no sense. I don't normally consume that much, but I do typically have at least like 300 milligrams a day with either a pre-workout or something. So you could argue that I had a tolerance, but it was definitely weird. Even if I upped it, I didn't feel anything different. But this side effect sucked, honestly, because it hits you in a weird way that you don't think about originally. Because like I said, the energy levels were pretty much flat the entire time throughout keto. My days, energy never had pits or hills. I basically felt the same energy all day. The problem was if I woke up and I was tired, I stayed tired all day. Caffeine did not change it. I could not do anything to up my energy levels. So that was basically my experience while on keto. But I know I was kind of negative a lot towards the end, so I'm gonna give you 4 pros and 4 cons that I could see with my short experience doing keto. Let's start with the positive, because I was kind of negative a lot towards the end right there. Number 1, I actually felt like I was able to eat plenty of food. I actually felt like I was able to eat more than normal. Number 2, I felt like I was never actually hungry anymore. Like I never had the hunger urges, or I never really had urges for sweets. I felt like that satiation that comes from really dense fats, say like olive oil or something like that, or just very dense or really rich proteins, really filled me up and didn't make me have cravings as much. Number 3, I was able to lose weight pretty quickly. I lost 5 pounds pretty much in the first week. So effectively, if I ever needed to do it for like a competition for like jiu-jitsu or something like that, and I needed to lose a couple pounds, it may be a good option just to do that in order to cut weight quickly. Number 4, I didn't have to deal with like the insulin spikes from eating carbs and the energy levels going up and down throughout the day. So I basically had flat energy, which could have been good or bad, like I spoke earlier. Now on to the bad. Number 1, my body felt like absolute shit for 30 days. I'm not certain if that was all due to keto or if maybe it was just the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak, that maybe my body was already in so much strain from the amount of lifting I've done in the past that whenever I went on to keto, I may have done it too quickly and it just put my body into shock and basically just started throwing everything around in order to make me, like basically telling me to stop, do something else, quit, making me be in so much pain the entire time trying to tell me that I was making a bad mistake. Number 2, this diet was just too restrictive for me. Like I felt overly stressed out trying to make sure that this food or that food did not have any carbs or didn't have enough carbs that put me past those 25 gram limits. And it was just overly stressful. Like I don't like that. I like to be able to eat whatever I feel like eating that's within a calorie range rather than have to worry about if it's actually carb dense or not. Number 3, my recovery time was ruined. And it may not be a problem for some people who don't train as often or as hard as me, but I felt that that was a really hard thing for me to get over. And then number 4, which is kind of the number 4 for the positive, but it was the energy levels being very consistent, but it could have been very consistently bad throughout the day. And that was pretty bad because if I'm working and I don't have a very stimulating job like physically, so if my brain's foggy and I'm tired or something like that, I need to be able to stimulate it in order to get going. Like I don't want to be flat if I'm already sitting at a desk. After hearing about all the stuff I went through this last 30 days, you can give me a like or subscribe, give me a little pity vote or something like that. My body went through hell just for you to create content. So, I'd appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below, help me with the YouTube algorithm, try to get the channel out. And I'll continue to do more challenges in the future. I'm probably gonna take a little bit of time off from doing challenges because I actually have a surgery scheduled for tomorrow morning. So I'll be out of commission a little bit doing physical stuff and I won't be able to really use my right arm for a bit. But I'll still probably have a video set up for next Monday. But I'd still appreciate y'all to stick around, see the video next week as well. I did enjoy the challenge of keto though. And I do enjoy challenges and stuff like that, but I probably would stay away from it in the future. Because honestly, the effects it had on my body were just absolutely awful. But I wanted to experience it for myself. I had some people that were giving me information, telling me, oh, you shouldn't do it, it's not good for you and stuff like that. But I wanted to experience it myself and see how I felt on it as well. And that challenge was great, but just bad on my body and, very challenging, more mentally than I actually thought it would be. The keto diet may work for you or someone else and I may not have given it a fair enough shake trying to give it with more varieties of meals and stuff like that. I didn't feel like that was my issue because it was more of an issue with the way my body reacted on it. So I can't endorse it with good conscience, but I appreciate anyone who stayed to the end of the video. And see you next week on Modern Mindset.